So hey everybody, it's Kenny K here again with another movie that I watched yesterday. I actually bought the day before. I bought myself 50 new slasher movies, and this one was in it. But I saw this one on YouTube. I was too lazy to get to put it on the DVD. I know I'm a big lazy fuck. I know, but it was on YouTube. That's fairly easy. But the problem is YouTube tends to censor shit. Usually nudity, and that doesn't really bother me. But when they get on the gore, it bothers me. Now, luckily, they didn't get on the gore with this one. This movie is called Mausoleum. It's a fantasy horror movie, 5.1. Not too bad. It's a watch movie, and the thing is that I thought it was a censored version, but then when you see the kills, they're pretty gore. This is a really gory movie, but with some kills, it goes by like that and it goes to another scene. It looks like the scene had more, you know, to give. So that's the reason why. So who is starring in this movie, you say? You've got a guy named Marjo Gortner. He's Oliver Farrell. He's the husband of our possessed girl or woman at this point, Bobby Breesy. Susan Walker Farrell. Now, Bobby Breesy apparently was a really famous porn star and a famous Playboy bunny. Now, that's I think that's one of the biggest reasons why men saw this movie, because she's a really beautiful woman and she kills most of the men by seducing them, showing her boobs. But in the YouTube version of it, I didn't see anything of that. Boobs. I did see cleavage, but I didn't see boobs. So I think I saw the censored version, and the DVD was the uncensored version. Now, again, it doesn't bother me if I don't see boobs or something, but there are a lot of boobs apparently in this movie by Bobby Breesy. Um, Now, not a lot of no doc Norman Burton as Dr. Simon Andrews, her psychiatrist. Oh yeah, and a woman named Lawanda Page called Ellie. This one's really funny, but that's for later. So I'm gonna spoil the ass out of this. Okay, so you've got a movie about a girl who's just lost her mom, and she's there with the aunt, the mom's sister, and she is mourning her, and she hears something, a voice. She thinks it's her mom, and she goes straight to the mausoleum of the cemetery, and then you hear the aunt yelling, "No, don't take her too! Don't take her too!" So she knows that there's something in the mausoleum, and when she enters the mausoleum, there's something that already goes fucked up. So she's standing there, and you see this. It's a little bit lighted, and you see a shadowy figure, and you see the hands, and some guy comes in and says, "Is everything okay?" And you see the hand going like this, and then like this. The guy has to get out, and it's like, oh, and you see him then walking out of the mausoleum, and you see his head explode, and so you've got a little gore already there. So she opens the crate, and something comes out, a demon, which she then becomes. When she's a grown woman, she, like I said, she marries in with this Oliver guy, who apparently has a lot of money because they live in a fucking mansion. And she doesn't see Dr. Simon, yeah, Dr. Simon, so much anymore. Now, they have this guy, the the gardener, Ben the gardener, and they have basically two people working for him, Ben and Ellie. Ellie is the what do you call him? The maybe a butler almost, because she has to take, the she has to go for the she has to shop for her, go to the store to buy food. She has to make dinner ready and shit like that. I'm guessing like a butler, and Ben is the gardener, a Latino gardener. Now he's staring at the window like a fucking creep, and he says, he's constantly looking at her, and he says, "Give my regards to Mrs. What's her name again? Sorry, I forget. Mrs. Susan." And then, okay, will do. And then Oliver says, "I think he has a crush on her, and this and that. What do you think? We go dancing." They go dancing, and at some point, there's this guy who wants to fuck her, and he starts to. When Oliver goes to the toilet, he starts to no to the telephone. Sorry, she starts to hit on her, and she doesn't want it, and he's like, "Why not? Why not?" And then, of course, Oliver has had a call that he has to go back to the house because the contracts are ready from what he does. I'm not sure what he does, but then they're waiting for their car, for the valet. He gives him a big ass tip. He's a cool guy. He's rich, but he's not like, rich and here, just take it. No, he's here. You gotta start somewhere. So things like that. But then the guy was flirting her, harassing her. He comes back in. He does this cheap trick by pushing Oliver, and then Oliver wants to do something against him, and then Susan says, "No, no, no, darling, he's just drunk. Let him be." And then when he goes to the car, it don't start. She's getting these green eyes, and everything starts to get on fire. He can't get out. Uh, Oliver's trying to help, and eventually the car explodes. So she did that with her green eyes. So that's a little bit the story about the movie and what you're gonna get. Okay. And I didn't show, and I showed you, I told you a little bit about the gore and a little bit what she is. She's now this demon with these green eyes, but that's not it. She has these different phases. The green eyes phase, which I always thought she does this with her teeth, which looks creepy when she's really angry, or she becomes this old-like woman in her. With these demon eyes, which looks really creepy, but the ultimate form looks just laughable. Now, why I like this movie, it's a 5.1, I'm gonna give it a 5.5. I like this movie, I had a lot of fun with it. There are a few funny moments in there, there are a few creepy moments in there, there's a lot of gore in there, and I think if you see the uncensored version, you've got a lot of nudity from a very known, well-known porn star, Bobby Breezy. Bam. Not really, I'm just looking at no really famous actors. Her aunt, no. Laura Hippie, never heard of her. So, okay, so what happens is now the killing starts basically. She knows the gardener has a crush on her. She gets out of the shower and she puts this dress on with a lot of cleavage, and she's basically mind fucking him and saying, "Let's go fuck somewhere." Okay, he takes her to the garage, they fuck, and she becomes the demon. We don't see only her hand, it's this green like hand with giant claws. She opens his face completely, and we see her hitting the guy with a rake multiple times. The guy's dead. First man. Now, then her aunt wants to come to give her papers, and Cora, and she's also the one who's still insisting that the psychiatrist Simon, Dr. Simon, sees her and helps her, but he says she's fine now, she's married, they soon have kids, she is a comfortable woman, let it be. But she gives him the book and for the reading, and he still doesn't believe it, that the apparently the firstborn daughter is the firstborn daughter is easy to get possessed. Apparently, the mom was possessed, and now the daughter gets it. Yeah, and but he doesn't believe in that. So the aunt knows it, but she doesn't believe. The aunt comes there, then she sees, and that's a creepy scene. She sees the old lady demon form of of her niece, and she's like, there. She, oh no, oh God, oh God. There is no God here. That's cool. And she takes her up out of her shoes, levitating, and she levitates her. She has this house like a maze of stairs, and I thought she was just gonna drop her, but no, she starts to rip her in half. You see the rip starting here and then going all the way here, and then it goes gone. So I think if you see the complete version, you see her ripping and ripping in half, I think, but you see the rip going on. So it's already pretty gory, but like I said, you see most of it of the gore, but then immediately it's sort of, you see a, let's say you get a pot, you get a cake, but you just get a piece of the cake. That's basically what you see. And then that's just fucking hilarious. So Ellie LaWanda Page, this black, I'm guessing butler woman or whatever, she arrives and she says to Oliver, I can't stay. Why not? Spiritual matters. Because of your wife. For some reason, she knows something. She doesn't explicitly say why. If she's a demon, she just knows there's something wrong. Please, Oliver says, please stay here for a while, and then I'll be back, and then you can go. Okay, don't take long. So she goes up the stairs, and she sees smoke coming out of her room, and she goes back. You see her running up the stairs. Oh my God, not this black lady. I got to pour me a few stiffeners. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, a black lady drinking scotch. How crazy is that? Whoop, whoop. For some reason, going back up the stairs. Then she opens the door. The room is completely green, and then you see. I'm guessing she sees the demon in full form, and she's like, "Oh no! Oh no! I'm getting my big fat ass out of here!" And you see then this song playing, like almost like Tetris. Running outside, you see her running outside with her suitcases, getting the fuck out of here. She's the smart one. She goes back to see Dr. Sutton, because at some point, and that's a creepy scene, she's laying there in bed with Oliver, and at some point he sees her, she's out of bed, and he hears some cracking, and you see her sitting in this rocking chair, watching outside with that old witch-like demon face, and he's like, "Fuck me, silly." He's like, "Oh," and she looks at him with his green eyes, but he sees that, but he immediately calls Dr. Simon to help him. He asks for her to come by that night, if he can come by that night, but he can't. Tomorrow morning, good. He convinces Susan to go, and Dr. Simon does a hypnotic trick, and at some point she gets up and starts talking in this demon voice. You don't know who I am. My name is Nomad, and those green eyes, and she is like, oh, what the fuck? Okay, when go back to sleep, and after 3 counts, you go back. 3, 2, 1, and she comes back. Luckily, so now he knows that the book isn't lying. Now he basically at the end becomes the savior. He says to Simon, who, oh yeah, so first he kills another guy. He's friends with the gardener. He gives him the plans, but then she opens the door up in lingerie. He says, come in, come in. No, come in. And he immediately gropes her, starts groping her boobs, and she said, no, not now. Just first call your company so it's settled, and then we go upstairs. Okay, he calls, then the phone starts to melt in his ear, and he pulls it off, his ears off. He's feeling that, and when he takes his hand off, he's ripping his skin off, and you see his eyes in the skin on his hand, and it's pretty gory. Like I said, if that's the censored version, whoa, if there's, what the fuck is the uncensored version then? Okay, so he's dead. Then at some point Oliver comes home. He sees blood on the telephone. He she she's up the stairs saying, welcome home, dear. And he's like, okay, let's have dinner. And he is cleaning up a board, and she's like, how, you idiot, you stupid idiot, here, clean this. She throws all the boards, and so he goes to Simon again. Dr. Simon says, we really got to do something. He called in Dr. Simon called in another psychiatrist, a really good one, and she says, you've got to get the crown. That's a crown with that Jesus had around his head with thorn needles, from the door of the mausoleum, and put it on her head. So he says, okay, listen, against Oliver, maybe he should have taken him with him, and then they were with 2. No, he says, go back to the house, which I wouldn't have done as the psychiatrist, and say, okay, wait and stay out of her way. Just let her be. So, okay, he does that. He goes to the mausoleum, take the crown, and goes to the house alone. And I personally wouldn't done that too. I would have taken the other shrink with me. So, okay, it's all for yourself. Apparently, stupid decisions. Because there's also a scene that I forgot to tell, when she's in the mall and she's completely unhinged. She steals a painting that she wants, and the manager comes out and holds her, and she, with the green eyes, he's starting to choke. He levitates him, and he lets him fall on this made of ice sculpture, this pointy thing, and he just, his body is just impaled. So like I said, she's now completely off the rails. And that's the scene with her Victor, I mean, I'm already forgot the guy's name. Her husband, right? Oliver, sorry. He goes towards her, ask. She's in the bathroom. He goes to see everything okay. Yes, dear. And why? Because you love me. Come here. And he's like, ah. He goes. Everybody warned him not to do that. He goes, and she gets out of the bathtub. You love me, right? Here are my boobs. You know, here's my vagina. Let's fuck. No, she doesn't say let's fuck. He says let's fuck. So this stupid idiot asshole starts to fuck with her, and then he's you see that old hack mode, but now the complete version of the demon, which is so ridiculous. So apparently her boobs become these heads, the same heads that are headed her head is. So she has demon head boobs, and they're eating his chest cavity open, and he dies. So the sucker just didn't want to listen. He listened to his Johnson. Now Simon arrives. He immediately takes action. Luckily, we have one smart person. He puts the thing on her head, the crown, and then you see the demon going back to the mausoleum, and he rides back to the mausoleum with Susan, and I thought, what the hell is he gonna do? So the demon's there. He takes off the crown, and I'm thinking, oh shit, okay. No, the demon just crawls back in its grave, and she has to put the crown in the grave so the grave shuts. She can't do it for some reason because it's her mom, but then he convinces her, he does it, boom. And then there's this weird ass shot that I just could. Okay, so she gets out, they get out of the mausoleum, it's daylight now. And what I don't understand, there's this guy, a person, I don't know if a woman, female or male, taking flowers, and putting them in rosemaries and shit like that. And okay, I thought it would be Ellie because she knew spiritual things. Now apparently it's the gardener, Ben the gardener, and he's then laughing. What? Huh? Who? What? You died whilst fucking her? And then the movie ends. That's why the movie only gets a 5.5. The movie would get a 6 if that was Ellie, because I liked Ellie. She was funny, and she knew spiritual shit. And no, they take Ben the gardener, who's the second to croak. Yeah, the second to croak, whilst fucking her. And okay, but so positives of the movie: a lot of gore, some good acting. I liked the Dr. Simon. I actually liked Bobby Breesy. That I never seen her again. Probably her one-time deal, but I liked her acting as a demonic woman and a normal woman. Oliver, there are moments that I like him, but then he makes these. No, actually, he's good until the end when he makes this extremely stupid decision. But you can blame it on love because he really loves her. He married with her. He wanted kids with her. You know what I mean? So he thought, okay, here's my hope. So yeah, but I liked him too in this movie. So you got a few good characters, good acting, a lot of gore, and I think in the uncensored version, a lot of nudity, a lot of boobs, especially a lot of boob nudity, and a few cool practical kill effects. The like I said, the demon, the witch-like demon is creepy, but then the complete version is stupid with a head with the boobs are basically little heads. That was stupid. That was stupid, cheesy. But that's cheesy 80s for you. You know, that's cheesy 80s for you. That's a little bit of laughing, you know, like when Ellie goes on the stairs, like, you know, and super fast. He's fast in fast motion, you know. So it's a good movie. I definitely recommend you seeing this one. It's on YouTube. It got a lot of gore in the movie. If you find the movie, I don't know, because the movie where I found it, well, the movie cost me $10. So all these 80s classics are really expensive. 10, $15, 7.5, 5 at the very least. So for DVDs, okay, not 4K, for whatever, Blu-ray. So okay, so enjoy. If you enjoyed this review, subscribe. And it's our mini horror community. It's free. I'll never ask you for a penny. See you later. Bye bye.